And we have returned. You're listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth, and I'm visiting today with Dr. Patrick Michaels, and we're talking about climate change, and we're going to go back to the phones. We have Travis from Texas. Travis, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You got a question for our guest?
I do. And when I watch the news and I see the UN talk about how climate change is going to impact global migration, and I just think, how is that going to happen? So is there really any evidence that climate change will impact migration or immigration?
I don't see it. I mean, the notion that somehow warming up the surface temperature of the planet by, say, 1.5 degrees or so is going to reverse all the incredible progress we've had while it warmed nearly 1 degree already is fatuous, okay? And, you know, I really like it when people try to blame the unrest in Syria on climate change. The computer models failed miserably in predicting what's happened there. So
I think that's more of the climate in politics than it is in the weather.
I take all those things with a grain of salt, actually, about probably several pounds.
Did we answer your question, Travis?
Yep, that's perfect.
All right,
thank you.
Appreciate it. Dr. Michaels, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned your book, Luke Warming.
Yeah.
And that was the last time we had you on. And I wanted to ask you, because I was kind of looking at it online, and it's listed as a textbook, and I know that I have a lot of homeschoolers listening. Would that be good for them to add that to their library?
Yeah, I haven't checked for about a week or so, but certainly for about 6 weeks recently, it was listed as Amazon's #1 textbook in earth science.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah.
I did read that, and I did read that online. So I was just going to offer that out so you guys could do a search. Probably even ask your local bookstore about Luke Warming by Dr. Patrick Michaels.
Yeah, the best way to get it is actually from Amazon. They can get it to you faster than I can.
Okay. Oh, we're going to give them your address, and you're going to mail them all out.
Yeah, no, thank you.
We have another caller. We're going to go to Roger in New Mexico. Roger, how are you today?
Just fine, Beth Ann. Great story here. I worked a good part of my career in laser fusion, and when they do accomplish that, then we'll have nuclear energy. But they're not there yet. But I also work for National Solar Observatory, and the solar scientists used to laugh about this global warming because they knew that from their data, the Earth's temperature tracked the sun's output very closely until 1980. And in 1980, Max Planck Institute of Solar Research found out that they separated. The sun cooled down and the Earth kept warming. They surmised that the Earth's permafrost melted somewhere around 1980 to where it now releases trillions of tons of CO2 and methane. What are we going to do about that? Have a nuclear war to freeze it?
No, I don't think so. But, you know, you talk about the sun, and I'm sure you know that the sun is really cold right now.
Yes.
The current last solar cycle was one of the weeniest ones ever measured, and it's almost back to levels of sunspot activity. A spotted sun is a warmer sun, by the way. That may be counterintuitive, but it is. And of the Maunder minimum in the 17th century, where there were very few sunspots for about 60 years or so, and there was that little old thing called the Little Ice Age that began around then. So, yeah, the sun is really, really cool right now.
All right, Roger.
Then why is the Earth's average temperature going up? Be our control. We have no say in it.
Well, you know, I have to differ with you a bit. If everything else being equal, and everything else being equal are the most dangerous words in science, but everything else being equal, if you put increasing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, you're going to get some lower atmospheric warming, and you're going to get stratospheric cooling, and we have seen both of them. And it's not intuitive that you would get cooling in the stratosphere, but indeed you do see it, and that's a pretty good indicator that, yeah, you're having some carbon dioxide effect.
All right, Roger, I'm going to have to let you go because I got another caller and we're running out of time. We have Tom from Michigan. Tom, how are you today?
Yeah, real quick. Two things. One that I watched on the PBS. There was a global warming documentary, and it seemed pretty scientific. Well, one of the things on there though that they didn't point out that I could see with my eyes was they had a graph or a model on there based on ice core samples of ice ages and warming, and right now our date is right on the up cycle going into an ice age. And the other thing, though, that I thought was a valid scientific hypothesis is that global warming can actually cause more moisture in the air, thus more snow and cooler temperatures and erratic weather. But I guess the point is I don't see where paying carbon taxes to Al Gore is going to solve any kind of a ecological problem.
Yeah, not going to happen. Even the UN's models from a while back show Antarctica gaining ice, because if you warm the Southern Ocean up even a little bit, it's a huge ocean. So let's say you warm it up a degree. That means there's a lot more water in the air because the vapor pressure of water goes up with temperature. And when that's converged over Antarctica, do you think it falls as rain? It doesn't rain in Antarctica. It all falls as snow. We are, I think, finally beginning to see evidence that the snowfall is increasing down there.
All right. We are just about out of time. Tom, thank you for your call. Appreciate it. I didn't get time for my questions. So I guess maybe I took too long in my monologue. So we're going to have you back if you're willing to do that, Dr. Michaels, because we have some more things I wanted to talk about. And one thing I wanted to talk about, and we'll get to that the next time, is all the why the people do question it. And I think it has to do with all the failed predictions that we have heard and the scare tactics that have not happened. And I think that's one reason that makes people more skeptical. And I wanted to talk about. I think
you're right about that.
I wanted to talk about that in length on another show if we can do that. I want to thank you so much for taking your time to come and help us and answer questions. Obviously, my listeners were very interested and had some questions, and I'm sure there was more of them. Thank you, Dr. Michaels.
And thanks for having me.
I'll send you an email. We'll see if we can't get you back on here real soon. Appreciate all that you do. I know that you've taken a lot of guff through the years as you stand up for truth and data. Appreciate it. You've been listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth Ann. This is what we need to do, is come together, talk about the issues, question, and find the solutions. So many times we see everybody arguing and they don't even try to come to a conclusion or a solution. But that's not what we're about here on CSC Talk Radio. We want to know the truth, and we want to know what we can do to help, what we can do to bring America home.